Have you ever felt trapped in an endless cycle of thoughts, replaying past mistakes, and worrying about the future? In today's world, our minds are constantly bombarded, struggling to find peace in the chaos. But what if there was a way to quiet this storm? Over 2,000 years ago, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca faced similar challenges. They didn't have smartphones or social media, but their worries were no less real. Through their philosophy, Stoicism, they developed practical methods to maintain inner peace, no matter what life threw at them. In today's video, we'll uncover 10 Stoic principles that will help you stop overthinking and reclaim your mental clarity. These aren't abstract theories. They're actionable insights that you can apply to your life right now. Imagine if you could quiet your mind, stop the endless stream of thoughts, and focus on what truly matters. Let's begin this journey and discover how Stoicism can help you stop overthinking and find inner freedom. The first and most fundamental principle of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, the understanding of what is within your control and what isn't. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, taught that the only things truly within our control are our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. Everything else, what happens outside of us, the actions of others, and external events, are beyond our power. When we focus only on what we can control, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Imagine you're driving to an important meeting and suddenly traffic grinds to a halt. You can't control the traffic, but you can control your reaction to it. Epictetus would tell you to focus on your response. Can you use this time to calm your mind, reflect, or even prepare for the meeting? Instead of wasting energy on what you cannot change, focus on what you can, your thoughts and actions. Epictetus wisely said that we can only control our own thoughts and actions. The weather, others' decisions, even random events, these are all beyond our reach. But too often, we waste energy worrying about things outside our control. Think about something you've been anxious about recently. Maybe it's how others perceive you, or whether an event will go as planned. Can you control these outcomes? No, but you can control your preparation and how you respond. Once you accept that external events are beyond your control, you'll feel your anxiety begin to lift. Right now, think of a worry you have. Is it something you can control? If not, let it go. Instead, focus on your mindset, your actions, and how you respond. This is what the Stoics practiced daily to reduce anxiety and maintain peace of mind. By focusing only on what's within your control, you free your mind from unnecessary burdens. Life becomes simpler, and peace finds its way back into your heart. This is the wisdom Epictetus shared with the world over 2,000 years ago. Principle 2. Observing your mind without judgment. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, knew the importance of observing one's thoughts without judgment. This practice is key in breaking the cycle of overthinking. By becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions, without getting caught up in them, you can regain control over your mind. Imagine waiting for the results of a job interview. You might spend hours replaying your answers, worrying if you said the right thing. But Marcus Aurelius would remind you that you've already done your best. Worrying won't change the outcome now. Instead, he would advise you to observe your thoughts, notice the anxiety without reacting to it, and refocus on what you can control, such as preparing for future opportunities. Whenever you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, try this. Watch your thoughts like an observer. Notice them, but don't judge or react right away. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it necessary? Practices like meditation or deep breathing can help you stay anchored in the present and prevent your mind from wandering into unnecessary worries about the past or future. Set aside a few minutes each day to sit in silence and simply observe your thoughts. You'll be surprised by how many of your worries are not grounded in reality. When you learn to observe your mind without judgment, you'll see that many worries are illusions created by overthinking. Marcus Aurelius mastered this, and now you can too. Principle 3. Embracing the impermanence of life. One of the most powerful Stoic principles is embracing the impermanence of life. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that everything changes. He wrote, "Do not let the future disturb you. You will meet it with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Understanding that everything, both joy and sorrow, is temporary frees us from the need to control the uncontrollable and helps us live fully in the moment. Throughout his life, Marcus Aurelius faced immense losses. He lost loved ones, endured betrayals, and carried the heavy burden of ruling an empire. Yet, he didn't allow these challenges to destroy his peace. He accepted that all things, including pain and joy, are temporary. Rather than resisting change, he embraced it. In your own life, think about how often we stress over things we cannot control, whether it's losing a job, failing a test, or the end of a relationship. In the grand scheme of things, will these moments still matter in a year or 5 years? When you embrace the impermanence of life, you stop being consumed by what you can't control and begin to focus on living fully in the present. Take a moment each day to reflect on the impermanence of life. When you're facing a difficult situation, remind yourself that this too shall pass. This perspective will help you reduce the emotional intensity of life's challenges. When you embrace life's impermanence, you free yourself from unnecessary worry. Marcus Aurelius lived with this understanding, and so can you. Let go of trying to control what cannot be controlled and live fully in the present. Principle 4. Turning challenges into opportunities for growth. In life, we all face challenges. There's no escaping them. But the Stoics believed that obstacles weren't setbacks. They were opportunities for growth. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "Adversity is a training ground for the soul." Instead of letting anxiety overwhelm you during tough times, Stoicism teaches us to view challenges as chances to strengthen our minds and spirits. Seneca wasn't just a philosopher. He was a statesman who faced countless challenges. He was exiled, betrayed by friends, and even ordered to take his own life by Emperor Nero. Yet, he didn't allow these hardships to destroy him. He used them as opportunities to build resilience. In a letter to Lucilius, he wrote, "We do not ask for an easy life, for it is through hardship that we grow stronger." Think of a time you received harsh criticism on a project. Your instinct might be to feel hurt or doubt your abilities. But Seneca would advise you to see the criticism as a lesson. What can you learn from it? How can it make you better? When you start viewing adversity as an opportunity for growth, you stop being paralyzed by fear and begin to see every setback as a stepping stone. Next time you face a difficult situation, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Focus not on the problem, but on how you can grow through it. For the Stoics, failure is not the end. It's the start of a new opportunity to grow stronger. By changing how you see challenges, you'll find that every hardship brings a valuable lesson. This is how Seneca faced life's toughest moments, and you can do the same. Principle 5. Challenging negative thoughts. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, understood the immense power of our thoughts. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This brings us to one of the most effective tools for stopping overthinking: challenging negative thoughts. When you're overwhelmed by negative thoughts, the Stoics didn't just accept them as truth. Instead, they questioned, reframed, and ultimately controlled their responses to those thoughts. Let's imagine you've received an unexpected message from a friend, criticizing you for something that took you by surprise. Your mind starts racing. Did I do something wrong? Am I a bad friend? These negative thoughts begin to spiral, and soon you're consumed by self-doubt. But here's where Epictetus would advise you to take a step back. He'd remind you that just because you're having negative thoughts doesn't mean they're true. He would encourage you to pause and ask, is this thought grounded in reality? Does this thought serve me? By doing so, you challenge the negative thoughts and break the cycle of overthinking. Imagine you've just finished a presentation at work. As soon as it ends, you find yourself replaying every minor mistake, thinking, "I stumbled over my words. Everyone must think I'm incompetent." But is that really true? Instead of allowing those thoughts to spiral, reframe them. "I had one small slip-up, but the rest of the presentation went well." By shifting your perspective, you prevent your mind from sinking into negativity and regain control over your thoughts. Whenever a negative thought pops into your mind, don't immediately accept it as truth. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts or assumptions? Then write down the negative thought and create a more rational, positive alternative. Over time, this will train your brain to focus on constructive thinking instead of spiraling into negativity. Challenging negative thoughts is a fundamental Stoic practice. Epictetus taught that our thoughts shape our reality, and by learning to control and reframe them, we can cultivate a more peaceful, balanced mind. Instead of letting overthinking control you, take charge of your thoughts and guide them toward positivity. Principle 6. Letting go of what's beyond your control. One of the most freeing realizations in Stoicism is understanding that not everything is within your control. Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "Receive without conceit, release without struggle." This means we should accept life as it unfolds and let go of the things that are beyond our control. When we try to control the uncontrollable, it leads to frustration, anxiety, and a restless mind. Think back to a time when you were waiting for important news. Perhaps the results of a job interview, exam, or a response from someone close to you. That waiting period can feel unbearable as your mind races with all the possible outcomes. But Marcus Aurelius would remind you that once you've done your part, the outcome is no longer in your hands. He'd advise you to accept whatever happens, knowing that it's out of your control. By focusing on what you can control, your preparation, your actions, and your response, you can free yourself from the anxiety of trying to manage everything. Think about your daily worries, how others perceive you, whether you'll meet a deadline or what the future holds. The truth is, you can't control what others think, you can't change the past, and you certainly can't predict the future. What you can control, though, is your effort, your attitude, and your preparedness. Marcus Aurelius practiced this principle every day. He reflected often on how much of life was beyond his control, choosing instead to focus on what he could influence. The next time you feel stressed or overwhelmed, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, let it go. Direct your energy toward what you can control, your mindset, your actions, and your responses. This simple shift will help you stay grounded and calm, no matter the circumstances. When you let go of what's beyond your control, you free your mind from unnecessary stress. Marcus Aurelius practiced this wisdom daily, and by adopting this Stoic mindset, you too can find clarity and peace in an uncertain world. Principle 7. Focusing on effort, not outcome. One of the most difficult lessons in life is accepting that sometimes, no matter how hard we try, things don't turn out the way we hope. Seneca reminds us, focus on your effort, not the outcome. We can control the effort we put into something, but the results are often shaped by factors beyond our influence. The key to peace is finding contentment in the process, rather than being fixated on the outcome. Throughout his life, Seneca faced numerous personal and political setbacks. He was exiled, betrayed by friends, and even ordered to take his own life by Emperor Nero. But despite these challenges, he remained steadfast, always reminding himself that while he could control his actions, he could not always control the consequences. In one of his letters to Lucilius, Seneca wrote, "We cannot control the harvest, but we can control the planting." By focusing on the effort rather than the result, Seneca found peace in knowing that he had done all he could. Think about a time when you worked hard on something, whether it was a project at work, an exam, or a personal goal, and the results didn't meet your expectations. It's natural to feel disappointed, but Seneca would remind you that the effort you put in was not wasted. Your growth, persistence, and learning from the process are just as important as the outcome. By focusing on what you can control, your effort, you can free yourself from the stress of trying to control the final result. When you face disappointment or frustration, take a moment to reflect on the effort you put in. Ask yourself, did I give it my best? If the answer is yes, then let go of the outcome. Trust that your effort will eventually pay off, often in ways you might not immediately see. When you focus on effort rather than outcome, you free yourself from the anxiety of trying to control the future. Seneca taught that true success lies not in the results, but in the journey itself. By embracing this mindset, you'll find more joy and fulfillment in everything you do. Principle 8. Practicing voluntary discomfort. Epictetus believed in the importance of voluntary discomfort, the idea that by deliberately placing ourselves in uncomfortable situations, we can build resilience and prepare for life's inevitable difficulties. Having been born a slave, Epictetus understood hardship better than most, but he never let his circumstances break him. Instead, he embraced discomfort as a path to mental and physical strength. Despite enduring slavery and physical hardships, Epictetus taught his students that discomfort was a valuable teacher. He practiced fasting, endured cold, and lived simply, deliberately choosing to embrace the discomfort that others avoided. By practicing voluntary discomfort in small, controlled ways, he believed one could better handle the real, unpredictable challenges that life would bring. In today's world, we live in relative comfort compared to the ancient Stoics, but too much comfort can make us weak, unprepared for the inevitable adversities of life. To build resilience, try practicing voluntary discomfort, whether it's skipping a meal, taking a cold shower, or going without your phone for a day. These small challenges remind us that we are capable of enduring more than we think, and they prepare us mentally and physically for the challenges we don't expect. Set aside one day a week to practice voluntary discomfort. You can fast for a few hours, sleep on the floor, or challenge yourself to go without modern conveniences. These small acts of self-discipline build mental toughness and prepare you to handle life's greater challenges. When you practice voluntary discomfort, you build both mental and physical resilience. Epictetus knew that by training ourselves to endure small hardships, we'd be better equipped to face life's bigger challenges. Embrace discomfort, and you'll discover how capable you truly are. Principle 9. Reflecting on the transience of life. Life is fleeting. Every moment, every experience we encounter, whether it's joy, pain, success, or failure, will eventually pass. This is one of the most profound teachings of Stoicism, and Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this truth. In his journal, Meditations, he reminded himself that recognizing the transience of life helps us live fully in the present, while preparing us for the inevitable changes that will come. Think about a time when you were completely overwhelmed, perhaps by a difficult loss, an unexpected setback, or the weight of a stressful situation. In that moment, it might have felt like the world was crumbling around you. But as time passed, you recovered, you adapted, and life moved forward. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. He often reminded himself that the challenges he faced, no matter how difficult, were temporary. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This awareness allowed him to approach life's ups and downs with grace. When you're feeling overwhelmed, whether it's from stress at work, anxiety about the future, or the loss of something important, remind yourself that these feelings are not permanent. The Stoics believed that by acknowledging life's impermanence, we can free ourselves from the heavy emotions that often cloud our judgment. By reflecting on the fact that everything, even the hardest moments, will eventually pass, we gain the strength to keep moving forward, focusing on what truly matters. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on the transience of life. The Stoics practiced something called memento mori, the contemplation of death, not to be morbid, but to remind themselves to live fully and without regret. When you acknowledge the brevity of life, you begin to appreciate every moment and let go of unnecessary worries. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "All we have is the present." When you reflect on the transience of life, you realize that many of your worries lose their weight. This understanding will free you from overthinking and help you focus on what truly matters, living fully, right now. Principle 10. Seeking wisdom from others. Seneca, one of the most brilliant Stoic philosophers, never claimed to have all the answers. One of his core beliefs was the importance of seeking wisdom from others. While Stoicism values self-reliance, it also recognizes the power of learning, growing, and gaining insights from those around us. Throughout his life, Seneca corresponded with his friend Lucilius, offering advice and sharing his reflections on life. But these letters weren't one-sided. Seneca learned as much from his conversations with others as he did from his own introspection. He knew that no one person could hold all the answers, and that by engaging with others we can broaden our perspectives and gain valuable insights into life's challenges. In one letter, Seneca wrote, "While we teach, we learn." It was a reminder that wisdom is a shared resource, and we should seek it in the people we respect and admire. Think about a time when you faced a tough decision or felt overwhelmed. Did you try to solve it all on your own, or did you reach out to someone for advice? Often, we think we need to figure everything out by ourselves. But Stoicism teaches us that wisdom is something to be shared. Seek out the wisdom of others, whether it's a mentor, a friend, or even through books and teachings. By listening to the experiences of others, you can avoid unnecessary mistakes and gain new perspectives that can guide you in your own life. Make it a habit to seek wisdom from others. Whether through conversations, mentorship, or reading the works of great thinkers, always be open to learning. When faced with uncertainty, remember that you don't have to have all the answers on your own. There is great value in the wisdom and experiences of those who have gone before you. Seneca understood that wisdom is not something we find on our own. It is something we learn from others. By seeking out the wisdom of those around you, you not only grow as an individual, but you also strengthen the connections in your community. Remember, you're never alone in your journey, and the wisdom of others can be a powerful guide. By applying these 10 Stoic principles, you can learn to control your thoughts, maintain inner peace, and face every situation in life with patience and calm. Overthinking doesn't change reality, but you can change how you respond to it. Start your journey today. Focus on what you can control, let go of what you cannot, and seek wisdom from others. As you practice these principles, you'll find that life becomes lighter and your mind freer from the unnecessary burdens of overthinking. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future videos on Stoicism and personal development. Thank you for joining us on this journey to inner peace and wisdom.